A big reason why most people are broke is because we are never taught about money. School doesn't teach about personal finance, which means that we have to learn it from our parents. Where a lot of parents think that they shouldn't take the innocent away from childhood to teach about how the world and money works. And there are also a lot which don't know how to teach their children, as they have never understood it themselves. The old saying about money doesn't grow on trees is probably meant well, but it doesn't teach you how to get money and how to hold on to it for a longer period of time. My name is Daniel and I'm here to help people with personal finance and show how to start a digital side hustle of your own. If you're interested in improving your personal finance or start a digital side hustle of your own, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you find this video helpful. Most people don't have clear defined financial goals, which is the starting point for how you want to earn your money and how you want to make them work for you. An example could be that if you want to save $5,000 this year, it is easy to say, but how will you actually go ahead and do it? Will you raise your income or will you lower your expenses? You don't have to live frugally to lower your expenses, you just have to think about what you are buying and not feel the need for impulsive spending when you see a sale. Learning to control your emotions when spending money is probably one of the biggest factors between being broke and wealthy. A lot of people don't prepare for emergencies. Where a study from the Federal Reserve Board shows that 1/3 of US households don't have $400 in their savings account and would need to sell something or borrow money in case an emergency happened. In case an emergency happens where your car, pet or yourself needs to go to a doctor, then you might need to borrow the money through a credit card, which has a very high interest rate. When you first start to get credit card debt and have a hard time paying it back, then it will be a vicious circle to get out of it. Many people don't have a budget. According to a study from US Bank, only 41% of Americans stick to a budget. A lot of people think that living on a budget is the same as living frugally, but it doesn't have to be. It just depends on how large your budget is and follow it. If you don't have a budget, how do you then track your expenses and how do you make sure that you have enough money left each month to invest? A lot of people buy as needed, and that doesn't make it possible to track their spending habits and track what is expensive and could be omitted from their daily life. When people buy as needed, they also don't buy common goods in big batches, which would be able to save them a lot of money. When talking about money, a lot of people don't think about the future. They would rather use the money they have earned today, which makes them living paycheck to paycheck without having the possibility to get ahead in life and make their money work for them. They are thinking in the short term and don't want to compromise with their life today, as they can then see what they could have spent the extra amount of cash on each month, and they think they are missing out on life. Many people have expensive habits and they look at the cash flow from their income and believe they can afford it. Some of the expensive habits are smoking, drinking, taking a coffee on your way to work, and eating out regularly. Are there any of these you can see from your own life? A lot of the same people are also brand slaves, where they would rather take an expensive brand than to use an alternative cheaper brand. In this group there also exists people who love a good sale and have to buy something because it is on sale, even though they don't need it. It is often the same people who also will say that they don't have any money left for investing each month. If they learn to think about all their expensive habits and choose which of them means most to them, then it might be possible for them to cut some of it down and be able to invest the difference each month. They have a lot of bad debt, which is charging them interest and sending them into a vicious cycle to get out of. This will make them always feel that they are running uphill, and for some it might feel easier to just give up. Often the reason that people end up with credit card debt is because they are borrowing money to purchase depreciating assets, or they are buying items which they can't afford. Depreciating assets are items that reduce in value over time. Can for example be a car, the newest computer, phone or clothes. This is also why Albert Einstein has said that compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it, he who doesn't pays it. Which is one of the biggest factors that some people get rich while others get poor. Credit card debt is a great example for getting stuck in a bad compound interest loop. A lot of people are also buying items they can't afford because they want to keep up with the Joneses. As Will Rogers said back in 1930, too many people spend money they haven't earned to buy things they don't want to impress people they don't like. It will be much easier for you if you don't think about what others might think of you. This will both save you a lot of energy and money, as you will just have to focus on what you like then. Have you ever thought about if you are a leading role in other people's lives, or if they might not even notice what you buy or how you look in everyday life? Most people don't remember how others looked or what they were during the day, but they will remember if you smiled or not, so just smile, it is also a lot cheaper. If you want to start living on a budget, then it might be a good idea to align expectations with your friends, so they know what you might not be able to do the same activities in the same amount as before. If your friends want to continue the same spending amount, then your socializing might be expensive for you. Here you will have to notice for yourself how much it means for you that you are with them every time, or if you have to cut your expenses elsewhere. Most people don't pay themselves first, which means that they are spending their money before they consider how much they can save. Often this ends up with not having any money left for saving. When we say that you are not paying yourself first, it is because each time you get a paycheck, then a lot of it will go to a landlord or mortgage. Afterwards, you will also have to pay for your car and living expenses, where you pay these to other companies. If you start to put an amount to the side each month for yourself first, and then afterwards you look at what you can afford with the rest, then you will always have money left each month to save. This will take a bit of time to get used to, as your living expenses might feel frugal in the beginning if you're used to living paycheck to paycheck. But you will easily learn what is nice to have and what is need to have for you in life. It doesn't have to be a big amount in the beginning. The most important part is that you get used to it and build up a habit around it which you can increase over time. In general, the reason that a lot of people are broke is because they make poor decisions and they might not know it. They will have to learn to see the poor decision and do something about it. You can also ask yourself the question, would a $400 medical emergency require you to borrow money? Because then you might be on the edge of falling into a vicious circle, which might be hard to get out of. The good news here is that nobody is relegated to being broke. It is possible for everyone to improve their situation and make their own financial future. All it comes down to is effort and learning to make better decisions. This will help to turn your finances around and set yourself up for a wealthier life.